Welcome to Untested Builds, where you figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Like and subscribe for a new build every week, comment below to suggest your favorite fictional characters, and join the Patreon to vote in the current Marvel Comics poll between Tigra, Rogue, or Punisher. Today we're building Baymax, specifically from Disney's 2014 Big Hero 6. He's a huggable robot raised by a super cool dad and taught how to be a true hero by his somewhat misguided uncle. Disclaimer, we're just building Baymax here, not Hero and Baymax, so don't be surprised if we return back to the world of Big Hero 6 once the Summoner and Inventor class get their full rules. For our goals for this build, our primary function is a personal healthcare companion, so we need to have over 10,000 medical procedures downloaded to our memory. Second, we need the tools to actually make a proper diagnosis and treat our patients. And last, Hero has made us a hero, complete with flying, combat training, and a sleek suit of armor. For our stats, we're using the steps outlined on page 20 of the core rulebook. Everything starts at 10, and depending on our ancestry, background, and class, we take different boosts and flaws to find our level 1 stats. We're starting with 18 intelligence. Our medical skills are less intuition and more rote memorization. 16 strength thanks to our carbon fiber skeleton. 14 constitution. Our body is soft, but taking damage doesn't really reduce our effectiveness. Dexterity and wisdom at 10. We're not as fast, and we take things kind of literally, and we're dumping charisma. Our bedside manner could use some work, but that hasn't really stopped us from making friends. For our ability boost, we're taking mostly the things that are already high and also wisdom. Pretty sure that long range scanner is going to be tied to perception somehow. For skills, we're an expert in athletics and a master in arcana, and we're legendary in crafting and medicine, since those will be pretty important for us. We also get training in everything else except for stealth and thievery. We've already got WebMD memorized. It's probably not a stretch that we can Google anything else we need to know. We finally have an excuse after 2 months to build something other than a human. Androids gain constructive physiology for a +1 circumstance bonus to saves against diseases, poisons, and radiation. They also gain low light vision and are emotionally unaware, meaning they get a penalty to diplomacy, performance, and sense motive checks. We'll take the Sylph heritage since we're literally filled with air, meaning our artificial eyes get upgraded to dark vision. We'll take the bibliophile background for training in arcana and library lore, and the arcane sense feat, meaning we can cast detect magic at will as a first level spell to scan for any ongoing magic effects or magic items in our surroundings. For our ancestry feat, we're picking up emotionless. I don't really think that's accurate. Baymax definitely has feelings, even if he claims he can be offended. But this feat gives us a +1 bonus to saves against emotion and fear effects, and critical success results on regular successes against those effects as well. For our class, I don't think anyone on Galarian knows what Bastard Tracing is, but I have a feeling the first person to discover it will probably be an Alchemist. Level 1 Alchemists gain infused reagents equal to our level plus our intelligence modifier that we can use for advanced alchemy to make a batch of 2 of any alchemical formula our level or lower we know without needing to perform a crafting check during our daily preparations. But we might want to save those for quick alchemy to use an infused reagents to craft an item as an action even during combat. We can also just craft alchemical items normally during downtime with alchemical crafting, but Baymax doesn't really strike me as slaving away in a lab between adventures. We choose a research field to determine our alchemical specialty. Chirurgeons automatically know the formula for lesser antidote, lesser anti-plague, and minor elixir of life. And we can use our crafting proficiency in place of medicine for any medicine checks we attempt, so we aren't too punished for not having a wisdom modifier. For our class feat, Alchemical Savant allows us to identify an alchemical item with our crafting skill as a single action instead of taking the usual 10 minutes, and if it's a formula we already know, we gain a +2 bonus to the check and regular fails on critical fails. We can also heal in a single action with Battle Medicine to perform a check similar to treat wounds using our crafting modifier on a target even during combat, but they become immune to further Battle Medicine attempts for 1 day. We download some karate skills, matrix style, with the martial artist dedication for powerful fists to do a d6 of damage die with our fist attacks and ignore the penalty for making lethal attacks with those fists as well. Our proficiency with unarmed attacks also increases whenever we gain weapon proficiency too, even though that's only going to happen like once for us since we're an alchemist. Moving on, at level 3 we get a general feat. That's good, so naturally we'll use that for more ancestry feats with Ancestral Paragon since we're not nearly robotic enough for my liking. We already have better saves against poisons, but what if we could have better results when we actually pass those saves? Cleansing Subroutine does just that, letting us reduce the stage of poisons we contract by 2 instead of 1 whenever we succeed the save, and reducing the stage by 3 on a critical success. We'll take full advantage of using our crafting skill for medicine checks with continual recovery, so whenever we treat wounds, the target only becomes immune for 10 minutes instead of the usual hour. Our fists get even more powerful as well with Gorilla Slam to gain an unarmed Gorilla Slam attack that deals a d8 damage die and also has the backswing, forceful, and grapple traits. We also get a +2 circumstance bonus to athletics checks to climb and critical success results on regular successful climb attempts. Useful for now, but eventually we'll just be able to fly over anything that gets in our way. Level 5 chirurgeons gain their field discovery to make 3 elixirs for every batch of infused reagents instead of 2 whenever they use their advanced alchemy. And powerful alchemy to change the DC of any item we create with quick alchemy to either our class DC or the original DC of the item, whichever is greater. Not that we're going to be making very many offensive alchemical items. There is an overall trend in this movie of scientists using the results of pure research to create insanely powerful weapons, even though that's not exactly what they set out to do. We'll do just that with Baymax's scanner with advanced targeting system to cast True Strike once per day as an innate arcane spell, to roll twice on our next attack and use the higher result and also ignore the target's concealed or hidden condition as well, so we can guarantee a hit on an important Gorilla Slam attack. We start the path to becoming the most consistent healer in the game with Combine Elixirs. As the name suggests, we get to combine the effects of 2 elixirs into a single item so that we can always give the perfect medicine our patient needs. Crunch McDabbles actually just posted a video earlier this week where they go over the chirurgeon and how it scales into the higher levels. So check that out and give them a sub if that's something you're interested in. Link is in the description. Consistency is a theme here. We are a machine after all. We'll take assurance in crafting so we never have to risk our downtime or medicine checks, because now we can forego the die roll in favor of a +10 to proficiency for any crafting check, and by extension all of our medicine checks as well. Level 7 chirurgeons gain alchemical weapon expertise for expert proficiency in simple weapons and alchemical bombs and unarmed strikes too, thanks to our martial arts skills. Iron Will for expert will saves and perpetual infusions to create lesser antidote and lesser anti-plague with quick alchemy without spending infused reagents. The breath control feat gives us a +1 bonus to saves against inhaled threats, and we gain the critical success results on regular successes against them as well. And we can hold our breath up to 25 times longer than usual. We're powered by a lithium ion battery, not an internal combustion engine. It would be weird if we needed to breathe. We'll take Ward Medic to save some time treating wounds in between fights. We can treat wounds or disease on up to 4 targets at once, since we're kind of the only person with any medical knowledge on the team. We're more than just a medic though. Thanks to Uncle Hero, we can also go full melee killbot on some poor villain. The Grievous Blow martial art feat lets us spend 2 actions to make a single attack that deals 2 extra damage die on a hit and 3 extra once we're level 18, which is actually pretty good considering we have a D8 damage die thanks to Gorilla Stance, ignoring an amount of physical resistance equal to our level. And since I know someone is probably going to bring it up, yes, our attack proficiency isn't great, and yes, we can make Bestial Mutagen to help with this. But that isn't really in character for us, but it's your game, no one is forcing you to actually be Baymax at your table. Level 9 Alchemists gain alchemical expertise for expert alchemist class DC, alertness for expert perception proficiency, and double brew to create up to 2 alchemical items with a single batch of infused reagents whenever we use our quick alchemy. We're going a bit out of order with the upgrades Hero gave us with the Wings of Air feat to gain a fly speed for 10 minutes once per day. Technically, it's our armor that lets us fly, and we kind of don't have that yet, but we will in a sec. With the Sentinel dedication to give us training in heavy armor, whenever we increase our proficiency in light or medium armor, we also gain that proficiency in heavy armor as well. We'll also take the Armor Specialist Sentinel feat to gain access to armor specialization effects of our full plate for resistance to slashing damage equal to 2 plus the value of the potency rune on the armor, so we don't have to compromise our huggable exterior. And just like that, we're a literal heal bot with martial arts skills, some sleek heavy armor, and we can even fly. But per tradition, we're taking this build all the way to level 20 for more cool robot stuff. Level 11 chirurgeons gain perpetual potency to make moderate antidote and anti-plague for free with quick alchemy, and Juggernaut for master fortitude saves and critical success results on regular successes. We'll take the Keen Follower feat for a +3 circumstance bonus on a skill check whenever we use the Follow the Expert activity. The bonus increases to +4 if they have expert proficiency in the task. We're pretty good at following directions, even if we do take things a bit literally. Hero may have given us 3 custom suits of armor, but we never grow too attached to them. Sacrifice Armor lets us use a reaction to reduce the damage of an incoming physical strike by an amount equal to twice the armor's level, but we reduce our armor to its broken threshold, or it's destroyed if it was already damaged. Paragon Battle Medicine means that our battle medicine can also reduce a target's sickened, enfeebled, or clumsy condition by 1 on a success and by 2 on a critical success. Level 13 chirurgeons gain medium armor expertise for expert proficiency in light and medium armor and unarmored defense, and also heavy armor thanks to our Sentinel dedication. Weapon specialization for an additional flat 2 damage on our expert weapon and unarmed attacks, and our greater field discovery, meaning whenever we use quick alchemy to make any type of elixir, that elixir always heals the maximum amount of health instead of rolling dice for them. Not only is our party harder to kill, but we are too. Once per day, if we have the dying condition, we can use Revivification Protocol to automatically recover from dying without needing to make a check, and we can also move and act normally on the turn we use this. We'll pick up a late wizard dedication for some more tech via arcane spells. Telekinetic projectile lets us shoot our rocket fist to deal 7d6 bludgeoning damage on a spell attack roll, and read aura gives us a super scanner, letting us scan any number of objects within 30 feet to determine whether an object is magical and what school that magic relates to. We get more robot things like the ability to have perfect recall with automatic knowledge to use a recall knowledge in crafting once per round as a free action so long as we use our assurance for the check. Meaning not only can we automatically recall all of our alchemical and technical knowledge, but since we're a chirurgeon, we can also use this for medicine recall knowledge checks as well. Level 15 Alchemist gain evasion for master reflex saves and critical success results on regular successes. Alchemical alacrity to spend up to 3 batches of reagents to create 3 separate items when using our quick alchemy. They don't all have to be the same type of alchemical item, and we automatically stow one for later, but we still have to use them by the end of the day. The fast recovery feat lets us reduce the stage of an ongoing disease or poison by 2 stages instead of 1 whenever we succeed on his fortitude save. We basically already have this for poisons back at level 3, but now we have it for diseases too. Insert ad for antivirus software here. We can help our party be resilient to diseases too with inoculation. Now whenever we treat a disease on a target, our patient gains a +2 circumstance bonus to saves against the same disease for the next week. We'll get more tech with basic wizard spellcasting for a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd level spell slot. Shocking Grasp makes a spell attack roll that deals 2d12 electricity damage within melee range, also dealing 1d4 persistent damage if they happen to be wearing metal. And if you got a cool GM, maybe they'll let you use this for a medicine check with the effect of risky surgery for some cool defibrillator action. I know I'd allow it. Illusory Object heightened to level 2 lets us make an audio and visual illusion that lasts up to an hour, so we can have a TV on our chest whenever our explanations need a visual aid. And mind reading to reveal the surface thoughts of a target based on a will save. Of course, we know we're just reading their body language, heart rate, blood pressure, perspiration, and pheromones, making an informed guess, but that scanning tech looks a lot more like actual magic to me. Level 17 chirurgeons gain perpetual perfection to make greater antidotes and greater anti-plagues without spending infused reagents with quick alchemy. And alchemical mastery to increase our alchemist class DC to master proficiency. The Eternal Wings Sylph feat gives us unlimited fuel for our rocket pack to permanently gain a flying speed equal to our movement speed. I want to emphasize that we really could care less about this armor our uncle made. Greater Interpose allows us to use our sacrifice armor reaction against damage from reflex saves as well, and whenever we use sacrifice armor and the effect was from a critical hit or a critical failure, we only take the normal amount of damage instead of double, which means we can spend less time worrying about ourselves and more time keeping our party alive. The legendary medic feat allows us to spend an hour or 2 once per day per target, attempt a crafting check to remove the blinded, deafened, doomed, or drained condition from our patient. The DC is equal to the effect that caused the original condition, but that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Crafting is our best skill, and intelligence is our best stat after all. Level 19 Alchemist gain medium armor mastery, meaning we now have master proficiency in our heavy armor, but also in whatever other type of armor we happen to find ourselves in. For our final general feat, we'll use Canny Acumen to increase our perception proficiency to master, because it just felt weird that we'd have a built-in scanner and not have master proficiency in perception. For our final skill feat, Steel Skin allows us to rest normally in heavy armor. I know we don't really sleep in our armor, we go inside a metal box to recharge overnight, but it's got the same color scheme as our hero look, so I'm calling it close enough. For our capstone feat, Miracle Worker lets us administer a true elixir of life once every 10 minutes to completely revive a creature that's been dead for no longer than 2 rounds. Restoring it to 1 HP and giving it wounded 1. It kinda stung that solely because of Baymax, the villain was able to have a pretty happy ending, even considering all the terrible stuff they did. Meanwhile, our young hero needed to go through closure the slow, painful way. But that's Disney for you, gotta keep the villains happy or else no one will care about the sequels. But now that we're level 20, let's look at the pros and cons of our build. For starters, we might not have the raw burst healing potential of the Healing Hands Cleric, or maybe our healing isn't practically free like the champions Lay on Hands, but between Combined Elixir and our Greater Field Discovery, we have a consistent 138 points of healing we can give out every turn with double Major Elixir of Life and insane 13 times per day every round if we need to. Of course, that's only in a time crunch. We can still make regular true elixirs of life to heal a guaranteed 87 health like 50 times per day and still have some reagents to spare for double elixirs throughout the day. We also deal some decent damage between Grievous Blow, Gorilla Stance, and we can even throw in a Bestial Mutagen if we ever want to roleplay Hiro suppressing Tadashi's chip and going full rampage. And lastly, we're pretty resilient with 42 AC, almost 270 health, and the ability to straight up take half damage on critical physical hits and critical fails on reflex saves, and also basically never having to worry about diseases or poisons affecting us. For cons, Baymax is not fast. We might be able to fly, but it's still only 20 feet of speed, and if we can't actually get to our party to pass elixirs along to them, then we're not really doing the heal bot thing very well. And those wizard spells are like basically pointless flavor. We've got the intelligence for it, but only having trained DC means we're basically never gonna land anything we send out. And lastly, when the fight is over, if no one is in need of medical care, we kind of just exist. We've got a negative charisma mod all the way up until level 20, and our intelligence isn't really going to impress a party made up of other alchemists and inventors literally working on their PhDs. Well, except for Fred, that is. Thanks for tuning in to another build. We kind of got behind schedule there, so expect a bonus video or two this month as we get closer to the channel's anniversary. Speaking of which, what would you all like to see to celebrate a year of Untested gaming? Leave any ideas you have in the comments, and until next time, take care, stay safe, and play more Pathfinder.